Okay, students, let's go through your unit review here. Test next class. Determine if the following are functions. For each function, tell what the domain and range is. Domain x coordinates, range the y coordinates. Remember, no repeats when you identify the domain and range. If it's not a function, explain why. Remember, function cannot have any repeat x's. So we look here, x, 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 x. No repeat x's. So yes, you can have repeat y's, just no repeat x's. Number two, do we see an arrow going twice from the same number? No, we do not. So it's a function. Oh, we need to identify the domain and range. Domain, all the x's. Okay, so we have 7, 1, -1, 0, range, 1. We don't say the 1 again. 7 and -1. Here, domain, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Range, it's only 4. Everything goes to 4. Here, we have repeat x's, so it's not, because you have 3 going to 5 different numbers. So the domain is 3. The range is all those that it's pointing to. Okay. Here we are asked to complete the table. R is like your domain or your x coordinates. The M of R like your y coordinates. So you just plug it into this equation right here, function notation. Remember, this is called function notation. It's the same thing really as y. So plug in 0, you get 28. Plug in 1, you get 31. It's going up by 3 each time. 34, 37, 40, 43, and then 10 is 30, and 28 is 58. Give a reasonable domain and range for the function in the context of the problem. Number of Facebook messages Sully receives is based on the number of times he replies. Okay. Well, let's just list where the number of messages Sully receives, and R is the number of times Sully replies. Okay. So that's the one he receives. The y coordinates are the ones he receives. R is the ones that stands for replying, what he replies to. It didn't say the number of Facebook messages, didn't say over what period of time. So this could be over years, but we can't have a fraction of a message. So reasonable domain would be x greater or equal to 0 in case he had no Facebook messages. Okay, and you'd say for x is a whole number. Okay, can't be a rational number because rational include fractions. Can't have that. It's gonna be whole numbers. Range, the smallest one, would be, well, he's not gonna have 28, right? If he's got none. MR is the number of messages he receives. Okay, so he could have 28, and he'd have no replies. He could receive anything from 1 greater, but here it's going to say if he gets 28 messages, he's going to have 0 replies. He's going to reply to 0 of them, but I'll let you go 28 plus again, and y is a whole number. Okay. Can you have -5 messages sent to him? No. Can he have a 0.5? No. So does either make sense? No. Didn't say explain why, so I guess you don't have to. That's how the question is worded. Describe what the equation M of R equals 148 would mean in the context of this problem, then find R. So remember, M of R stands for the number of messages. It tells you right here, the number of messages he solely receives. Okay. So if Sully receives 148 messages, and you could say Facebook messages, say FB up here for Facebook messages, he will reply to, and so we need to set 148 equal to 28 plus 3R. Subtract the 28 across and get 120 equals 3R, and last step divided by 3, and you get 40. He will reply to 40 messages. Or you say he will reply 40 times. Okay, down here, remember when you have the number inside of there that represents X, so you just fill that in to the X spot. So I have A of -2 equals 3, whatever, substitute in parentheses around it. That's -6 plus 2 is -4. B of -2, we'll write it right here so I don't have to repeat. 3 times -2 squared plus 1. Remember PEMDAS, got to do exponents first. That's 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Okay, now we do stick 2 into there, so the A of 2, plug that in, and you get 6 plus 2 is 8. Plug 5 into the B, 5 squared is 25 times 3 is 75, plus 1 is 76, and so you get 84 for your answer. A of 1 would be 3 plus 2 is 5, minus the A of 0 would be 2, and that gives you 3. Okay, so there we're sticking them all into the X's, the independent variable, also called the input variable. Now it says find X, so that means they're giving you Y. Remember, A of X is like Y. So if Y equals 35, solve it for 3X plus 2. Subtract the 2 across, you get 33, and divide by 3, and you get 11. Set it equal to 0, 3x squared plus 1. Okay, subtract it across, -1. Next step, divide by 3. And you'd have to take the square root, and it's plus or minus. Well, you haven't learned imaginary numbers yet, so your answer would be no solution. You can't take the square root of a negative number, so no solution. Okay, A of X equals 2, so we got 2 equals 3X plus 2. Subtract the 2 across, and you get 0. And so X equals 0. 3 times 0 is 0. The B of N plus 2, remember that means substitute that in for the X, where we see X. So it says now 3 parentheses N plus 2 squared plus 1. And again, we have to remember order of operations. We have to do the squared first. So you can multiply it out, N plus 2 times N plus 2, or you can memorize the shortcut, which is square the first term, multiply the 2 terms together, and double it. So that's 4N, and then square the last term. And that's what you'd get if you multiplied it out like this right here. You get N squared plus 4N plus 4, and then we get a plus 1. Next is multiplication, so we distribute that through there. 3N squared plus 12N plus 12 plus 1. And last step, combine like terms. So 3N squared plus 12N plus 13. And there's your answer. Okay, next page. Looking at our function graph and just finding values on it. The f of 3, remember that's the x value. So I go to x equals 3, which is right there. Go down until it hits and it hits right there at -2. The f of 0, here is 0, go up till it hits at 4. The y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, at 0, 4. The x-intercepts, where it crosses the x-axis, we got -7, 0, 2, 0, and 10, 0. Where is the function decreasing? Where is it going down? It's going down from there to there. Remember, it wants the x values of those. So x starts at 0 here and goes down to 7. So x is greater than 0 and less than or equal to 7. Okay. Where's it negative? Where's the function negative? Well, it's negative from there to there. It's negative from there to there, not including. So those would be open circles right there because it doesn't include 0. It's negative. And again, it's only asking where the x values are. So from -10 to -7. -10 doesn't include 7. -7. Okay, union, which means we got another one. From 2 to 10. X is greater than 2 and less than 10. Okay, it's not going to include either of those because those would be right at 0. Okay, where is it increasing? Where is the curve going up? It's going up from there to there, and it's going up from there to there. So again, what are the x values from there? From -10 to -5. And so it's, well, an or, either there or from 7 to 10. Okay, where is it constant? Constant refers to being horizontal. It's horizontal from there to there. Again, what are those x values? From -5 to 0. What is the f of -4? Go to -4 on the x. Remember, that means the x coordinate, -4, goes up, it hits at 4. Where is it? The f of 7. 7 is right here. Go down until it hits. Come across, -6. Remember, that's the x value right there, so we want the y value. Here it says y equals 0. What's x equal when y equals 0? When y equals 0, it hits there, there, and there. So it's -7, 2, and 10. Y value equals 4. Where is that? That's that whole range right there from -5 to 0. Okay, where's y equal to -6? So go down to -6, it hits there, and it hits there. Is that an open circle? No, it's close, yeah. So at -10 and at 7, both those spots, y equals -6. What is the range of the function? Remember, range of the y values, so it's going to be y is greater than or equal to, what's the smallest y value here? -6. What's the greatest y value here? 4. Got to make sure your inequality symbol is in the right direction, or you get no credit, or you're going to lose half the credit at least. Okay, they're always written like this. What's the domain? It's all the x values. Starts at -10 and includes -10, and that's the x value, so you put x, and it goes all the way till +10. Okay, graph the piecewise function. Okay, remember you could put in the graphing calculator. I'll show you that here in just a second. Going by hand. Okay, at -4, I plug that into there. That gives me -8 plus 3 is -5. So at -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I get -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and that's going to be a closed circle because we see the equal sign there. And it has a slope of 2. So now I just use that slope, 2 over 1. Now if I go and it says x is less than or equal to -4, I mean, it's got to be shaded over here on this side. Slope of 2, if I use 2 over 1, it would go up 2 and right 1, and that's going to the right. I need it to the left, so I need to put negatives on both those and go down to left 1. Okay, and there's that piece of it right there, so it's to the left of -4. Plug in -4 into this equation. -4, half of -4 is negative half of -4 is positive 2 plus 5 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But that's going to be an open circle there, okay, because it's not equal to it. And we have a slope of -1/2. These are both lines, so I can just use that slope there. So -1, so down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Oh, okay. And there's that curve. Now I can also plug that into the graphing calculator. Hit math and go down to B for piecewise. We have 2 pieces, so we're going to lower it to 2. Hit OK. Notice it gives me my pieces right there. Okay, and it was it 2x plus 3? Okay, 2x. Come on. 2x plus 3 over, and second math conditions, it was x is less than or equal to, so hit enter, and it was -4. You got to use the negative button. Go down, and so this was x was greater than -4. So again, second math, go over to conditions. We want x is greater than -4. Okay, and our equation on that one was -0.5x, and that's the same thing as -1/2, -0.5x plus 5. Plus 5. Okay. Go to the very end like that, hit enter. Notice I gave me the answer because I plugged it in the wrong spot. That same stuff needs to go in the y equals. So we get to practice again. So if yours happens like that, remember it's got to be in y equals. Math down to B. Okay, 2, enter. It's 2x plus 3. Conditions, x less than or equal to -4. Here we had x was greater. So second math again, conditions, x is greater than -4. And it was -0.5x. What was the other one again? Plus 5. Plus 5. Okay, now we go ahead and go here, hit enter. Hit graph, and there it is right there, which is what ours looks like. Now remember, you can get values right off of here as well. I hit second graph, which is a table, and it will give you the points to plot right there. And just plot like the whole number one, 0, 5, 2, 4, 4, 3, 6, 2. Okay, and that keeps going, and then remember the key is that -4. Okay, where the closed circle is going to be. So -4, -5 has the closed circle. Okay. So that's the only one that doesn't give you the other one at -4, where you have the open circle. Okay. -4, -5 is the closed circle down here. That's the one thing that it can't show on the graphic calculator. -4, -5 is a closed circle. That's the open circle right there because it did not include that. Right? Was that it? Yes. Okay. So if you wanted to find out, for example, what it was for the other one, you just plug the -4 into that top one. You get -8 plus 3 is -5. That's closer. I mean, at the top one, top curve that went down, -4 times, and if you didn't know what that was, you can go just plug it in, -4 times -0.5, which would give you 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, but if you didn't know that, I could just type in here negative 0.5 times parentheses negative 4, and then what was it again? Plus 5. Okay, and I hit plus 5, and there that gives you that 7. So you know right there what that 7 is with the open circle. Okay, so that's another way you can test that if you didn't know. All right, next. Here we're just plugging these into the graphing calculator. This goes in y sub 1. The right side goes in y sub 2, and find where they intersect. We have to be able to show that intersection on the graphing calculator before we can do the second calc 5. Okay, so let's type it in. Negative 10 square root of x plus 5. So we clear this out, go to y equals, clear that. Negative 10 square root of x plus 5. Right arrow out of there. Is there anything left with that? Nope, that was it there. Negative 2x minus 20 on the other one. Negative 2x minus 20 on the other one. I hit graph. Notice I can't see where they intersect, so I need to lower my y. I can either zoom out, do zoom 3, and zoom out, or go to the window and lower my y minimum, say down to negative 25. Hit graph. Okay, now I see intersecting there. Now look at it, may intersect again, so I'm going to need to lower my y again, past that, let's say negative 50. Okay, so we do see that it intersects twice. So now that I see both intersections, now I can do my second calc number 5. Enter, enter, enter. It'll jump to the first intersection point. So our first answer is negative 3.09 if we're going to nearest hundredth. I do second calc number 5 again. First curve, second curve. This time I'm going to guess. I move it closer to the other intersection point. Then hit enter. And I'll jump to it, 8.09. So there's my two answers, negative 3.09 and 8.09. Negative 3.09 and 8.09. You don't write as a point. Those are two different x values, so you don't have parentheses around it. I'm going to write as a point. Okay, now we do it again with b, except we have absolute value, x plus 7 and then minus 10. Okay, go back to y equals, clear that out, clear that out. Remember, absolute value, quickest way to go second catalog, which is second 0. There's the absolute value right there. And it was x, what was it again? X plus 7 and then minus 10. X plus 7, hit right arrow to get outside of it, minus 10. And the second equation, negative absolute value of x plus 8. Negative absolute value of x minus 8. Let's just verify that. Oh, you all have your paper. Yeah, no, x plus 8. I said x minus 8. X plus 8. That's why you always verify. Okay, hit graph. I can see one of the intersection points here. Okay, but I can't see that one, so I need to move the x over, make it less on the x. So the x minimum is negative 10. Let's make it negative 20. Okay, now I can see both of them clearly. I could have also zoomed out. Zoom number 3. So I do my second calc 5, intersection 1, 2, 3, jumps to the closest one right there, negative 2.5. And then do second calc again, number 5, enter, enter. This time I guess, move it closer to the other one, then hit enter, negative 12.5. So there's my two answers right there, negative 2.5 and negative 12.5. Okay. All right. Sketch graph has the following characteristics. Says the f of 4 is 5. So remember, that's the x coordinate. There's the y coordinate. So 4, 5. Right there. The y-intercept is negative 5. That means we're across the y-axis. The x-intercepts are negative 2 and 3. Right there. From negative 4 to negative 9, the graph is constant. Remember, that means horizontal. Okay, it doesn't tell you where that horizontal has to be. It just has to be. So we could just go right here, -9 to -4. But remember, this has to be an open circle. No, it's closed because it's got an equal sign there as well. So it's closed all the way. Okay. From -4 to 0, the graph is decreasing. From -4, oh, to -4 to 0. So it has to be going down here. Since it crossed up there at x equals -2, I have to make my horizontal above it. So then from there, it can go down through that. Okay, there's decreasing. From 0 to 4, the graph is increasing and nonlinear. That means a curve. From 0 to 4, from x equals 0 to 4, it's increasing and it's nonlinear. Okay, so we have a curve like that. Have it go through the x-intercept like that, go up there. The rate of change from 4 to 8 is -2. So it's going from 4 to 8 with a rate of -2. So I'm going down 2, and this technically, it's hard to, what were the x-intercepts? -2 and 3, yeah. It's hard to draw that up like that. Okay. Right there, and then go down to right 1. Down to right 1. That's a slope of -2. Down to right 1. Down to right 1. Okay. So remember, rate of change, that means slope. So right as -2 over 1. Down to right 1. Okay. And that's straight. You know, if I had a ruler, it'd be straight like that. Okay. And that satisfies all those conditions. The only tricky one is after I had that horizontal, I didn't know if it was going to be down below the x-axis or y-axis, I mean x-axis or above it. But then once it said it had to decrease from -4 to 0, that made I had to put it above the x-axis so it could then decrease all the way down. Okay. All right. Oh, one more page. Okay, so here this is just, you can plug it in your graphic calculator if you wanted to get the XY values, or just plug the numbers in yourself right now. So remember, this is the f of x function, and that's the g of x function right there. You're just plugging them into there, filling in the values. -5, it's -10 minus 4 is -14. The absolute value of -14 is +14. -4 plus 4 is 0. 0 minus 4 is -4, which then is +4. 4 minus 4 is 0. -2 minus 4 is -6. It makes it +6. Remember, absolute value, final answer is always going to be positive. 20 minus 4 is 16 and 1. 2 minus 4 is -2, which makes it +2. For the g of x now, thinking -5, that's going to make it -2 plus 4 is 2. -2, it's -4/5 plus 4 minus 4/5 is 3 1/5 or 3.2. 0 is going to give me 4. 2 is going to be 4 4/5 or 4.8. -1 is 4 minus 2/5, which is 3 3/5. 10 would be 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, 1 is 4.4. And then, oh, so I must have some more down here. Let's see. Oh, okay, there was more down here. Okay. So here we're wanting to, we got 5 again. 5 for that one is 2 plus 4 is 6. 5 in the top. fx 10 minus 4 is 6. Okay. Now we want this one. This is the y equals 2 there. So we need this to come out to be 2 right here. Okay. So absolute value. Okay. So I make this 3. That's 6 minus 4 is 2, absolute value. Okay, so if x is 3 there, then plug in Oh, so I was plugging that into the wrong function there. I want the g of x to be 2. Okay, so solve that now. Subtract the 4 across. So I have 2/5 x, subtract the 4 across, and get -2. Then multiply by the reciprocal, 5/2 on both sides. And I get x equals -5. So -5 there. Now stick that into the first one. Oh, we already have that one. Oh, I didn't even have to do that. I could have looked right back up here and seen, but that's how you do it if they didn't already have that number there for you. Okay, so I could have looked up there and got it, seen x was 5 and fx 14. But if you didn't have one that's already in the graph in the table like that, that's how you'd solve it. Okay, now we got to solve for these last two. That's the y value, and we're doing it with the f of x function. So f of x equals 8. Okay, so I need this to be 12 here because 12 minus 4 is 8. So 2 times 6 is 12. That's one that will work. So I can put a 6 right there. Now stick 6 into the bottom equation. And that would be 12/5 minus 20/5 is -8/5. Okay. 12 for this one right here means I need this total answer counting 12, so I need this to be 16 minus 4, give me a 12, so that means 8, x would have to be equal to 8 there. That's one of the possibilities. The absolute value always has 2 answers. Okay, but you don't have to worry about that. You just have to find one to fill it in. Okay. So now 8 on the second one, that'd be 16/5 plus 20/5 is 36/5. Okay. Now, so I calculated it by hand. You could have also just plugged that into a graphing calculator. Remember how we set this equal to 12? I could have gone ahead on the graphing calculator, put y sub 1 is 12 and y sub 2 equaled the absolute value of 2x minus 4. And then it will give you actually 2 answers, and you just have to pick one of those answers to plug in there. Okay, and you could have done that with 12 as that we did at 12. You could have done that with 8 as well. Okay, so you could even use your calculator on that. All right, graph the two functions by filling in the table and plotting the points. Okay. So f of x function, these right here. And of course, I got to type them in my graphing calculator. And g of x is a line, so we can quickly plot that. Y-intercept is 4. Slope is 2/5. So up to right 5, up to right 5, right there. Okay. And there's that line, arrows at the ends. Okay. Now I could take my graphing calculator and just type that in there and get my table off of there. Of course, I got points here, -5, 2, -5, change the color here, -5, 2, 0, 4, 10, 8. Okay. What are the negatives? -1, 3.6. You got -5, 14. Oh, wait a second. What did I? No. -5, 2. I gotta be looking at the right ones here. -5, 2, 0, 4. I have 10, 8. I have -5, 2. I already have. Let's see. Do we have? Okay, so we need some more It's a V shape here. So we want to plug the absolute value because that's not going to give me a good enough graph right there. Let's type with those data points. Go back to y equals clear, clear. And what was it? Absolute value of 2x minus 4. So second, 0. Absolute value of 2x minus 4. Get outside of it. Graph it. Okay. Let's go back to a standard window, zoom 6, and now we get a better graph of what it looks like. So I must have had one wrong point in there. So we can get our table. Oops. Oh, second table. Negative 5, 14. Oh, dang. I was just doing the line one. That's why I had it wrong. Negative 5, 14. Which is way up here. Okay. F of x is the absolute value. Negative 2, 0. Right there. 0, 4. Right there. Okay, so we have it coming down here like this, going up right there. Two, 4, 2, 0. That negative 5, 14. Negative 2, 0, 0, 4. Okay, let's get our points off of here. Negative 2, 8. Negative 2. That's where I did it. I told you I must have had a wrong point. That's negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8, which makes it positive 8 now. Negative 2, 8. That's why. Negative 2, 8, and negative 5 up here at 14. Can't see it. 2, 0. Okay. And then at, do we have a 5, 6? Okay, so it came down through here like this, went up through here. Okay. There's that one like that. All right, there's the line. One error right there. Plug it in. So again, check the graphing calculator. You could get all those points right for graphing calculator. Plug it in. All right. For what x values are the two functions equal? Obviously, they are equal right there and right there. So what are those x values? X is 0 and x is 5. Okay, so we should be able to check that right there. X is 0 and x is 5 right there in our table. You see that? 0 and 5. What are the y values when those two functions are equal? So what are the y coordinates there? We got 4 and 6. Okay, these are my y values, 4 and 6 right there. Give the domain and range of each function. So for f of x, oh, we have it right down here. For f of x, notice it's going to go from negative infinity to positive infinity because these are arrows going on forever. So it's all real. Domain, you can say is all real. You can write it out like that or use the symbol like this. The range for the absolute value, notice it starts at 0 and goes up to positive infinity for the y values. So y is greater than or equal to 0. Now for the g of x, that's that line. Of course, every point is graphed, so that's again all real. And y values, it's going to go from negative infinity to positive infinity, so it's all real again. Okay. And that answers all of it right there.